Tonight in CVM News at 7, fatal drive-by shooting rocks St. James. 4 killed in Rio Nuevo crash. Public health warning as chicken washes up in Ashore. As usual, we have Inspired Jamaica, and in sports, a look at the performances from GST Day 1. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition for Saturday, April 5, 2025. I am Curlin Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. Concerns have been raised by the councillor of the Rose Hall Division in East Central St. James following a shooting incident in the parish Friday night where 2 men were shot, 1 fatally. Marjorie Gordon tells us more.
The dead man has been identified as a 36-year-old Delroy Leslie, also known as Preke Boy, of Success Lane in the community. Leslie and another man were among patrons at an event the police are describing as unpermitted when men driving a white Toyota Voxy motor car fired several shots at them. Both Leslie and the other man were taken to the Falmouth Hospital, where Leslie was pronounced dead. But what has angered Councillor Anthony Murray is how close the incident happened to the Barrett Town police station. He says that this is the second shooting incident to occur in close proximity to the police.
The first incident took place less than 3 minutes from the police station. That was 2 Sundays ago. And last night we have one which is less than a minute from the police station. And it shows that these guys have no regard for the police station, for the police. And so I'm asking the police to exercise, to stamp the authority in this space and ensure that they gain the respect that they have in the community, so that these persons who are creating these crimes in the area are more fearful of them.
Councillor Murray is also concerned about how long it took for the police to respond to the incident. He believes the response time was woefully inadequate.
More than half an hour after the incident, the police were yet to be on the scene, and this is of a concern to me. So I'm going to make an appeal to the hierarchy of the police. And I want to say on record that the police have been doing a good job in St. James to reduce crime. We have been more than 35% reduction in St. James as relates to crime. And that's why I'm concerned, because we have seen a decline in murders and shootings in St. James. But unfortunately, I'm seeing an increase in my space. And so I'm going to ask the hierarchy of the St. James Police to see what can be done and what needs to be done to ensure that we exercise that authority that we had in this space. Because over the years, this space has been one of the areas that we could have considered to be a safe space in Marathon.
The councillor is of the view that the police should be more proactive, as the area is what he describes as unique.
The police station is the 3rd building into Barton, or the 3rd building you will see leaving Barton. So it's a one-way in, one-way out. And that's why I'm making an appeal to the police again, that they need to ensure that this is done. The area is unique for policing. And so it's hard for me to sit and to even believe that criminals can come into this space, conduct their crime, and escape so easily. So we need to look into that aspect of it as well, because the area is unique. It's one way in, one way out.
Councillor Murray, in the meantime, wants residents, when having gatherings, to make the necessary arrangements, as well as make the police aware. Marjorie Gordon, CVM News.
Well, in response to the deadly drive-by attack, the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, advised the security forces to, quote, every effort must be expended to find and bring to justice the gunmen who perpetrated this act of terror. The minister made reference to data that suggests St. James has had a major reduction in murders and violent crimes this year, adding that, quote, we will not allow violent criminals to reoccupy the space and seek to drive fear into residents and communities. The minister also took note of reports indicating the shooting is believed to have been an act of reprisal for the killing of an alleged gangster's relative last year. The gunmen were reportedly in pursuit of the alleged perpetrator, who is believed to frequent the area. Government Senator Abka Fitzhenley also released a statement.
Yes, I can confirm that National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang had conversation with the leadership of the JCF and indicated that every effort should be expended to bring the perpetrators of this act of criminality to justice. Dr. Chang is urging the community to tell the police what they know, that this crime might be solved as quickly as possible. The Security Minister and the administration of Prime Minister Andrew Holness are committed to giving the JCF as much support as possible to enable them to continue the decline in violent crimes which have been recorded this year in St. James and across other sections of the island.
4 men died following a single vehicle crash along the Rio Nuevo main road in St. Mary at around 6:45 Saturday morning when a Mercedes-Benz C200 veered off the road and collided with a tree. Now, the Benz was being driven by 34-year-old Chad Beckford, a carpenter of Stewart Town. Reports indicate Beckford was in the process of negotiating a right turn when he lost control of the vehicle, which veered off the left side of the roadway and ran into the bushes where it crashed into the tree. 3 other male passengers, Kenroy Fung, Brandon Nelson and Romario Gray, sustained serious injuries. They were taken to the Port Maria Hospital where they were all pronounced dead. The driver subsequently succumbed to his injuries. The St. Mary police are investigating the contributing factors leading to that fatal collision.
At this time, our investigations are ongoing to determine all the contributing factors of this tragic event. We will be looking into whether speeding, mechanical failure, or any other conditions play a role. I want to use this opportunity to remind all road users to exercise the utmost caution on our roadways, especially when negotiating corners or traveling at high speeds. On behalf of the St. Mary Police Division, I extend heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of the deceased.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining has issued a warning in relation to a container with chicken which washed ashore along the Hershey coastline on Thursday, April 3. Images circulating show members of the public removing boxes of whole raw chicken from the container. The ministry is, however, strongly advising individuals who may have taken the chicken not to consume it nor feed it to animals. Instead, they should immediately contact their local public health department for guidance on safe disposal. The opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, points to the dangers associated with the consumption of the poultry.
Raw poultry rapidly becomes a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria such as salmonella. There's a high risk of contamination. The chicken may now be contaminated with salmonella, E. coli, listeria, and other harmful bacteria. These bacteria can cause serious foodborne illnesses, especially in children, the elderly, and persons with compromised immune systems.
The chicken labeled under a Brazilian brand, Perdix, which was not intended for the Jamaican market, is understood the container fell from a vessel which was destined for the Cayman Islands.
To the individuals who remove the boxes of chicken from the container, please do not consume or sell this meat. Safely dispose of it, as eating or distributing it could lead to widespread illnesses. To the general public, be vigilant. If you are purchasing chicken from street vendors or food establishments, ask questions. Ensure the source of the meat is reputable, and if in doubt, do not consume it. To food business operators and vendors, selling or preparing meals with chicken of unknown and unverified origin is not only unethical, it is dangerous and could result in public health violations or prosecution. As the opposition spokesman on health, I urge the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Ministry of Commerce, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force to immediately investigate and seize the container to safely dispose of the remaining goods to prevent further risk to public health.
Jamaica is grappling with a surge in motor vehicle theft, with criminals making off with nearly $1 billion worth of cars in just 3 months. Now, as the police work to curb the rising trend, owners of motor vehicles are being urged to be even more proactive by investing in alarms and tracking systems. Shante McNeil picks up that story.
Just 3 months into the new year, and Jamaica's car thieves are already racking up a nearly $1 billion crime spree. The Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC, reports that 474 vehicles valued at approximately $904.8 million have been stolen, with only 76 recovered. Detective Inspector Marcel Bedward says the rise in thefts is largely fueled by advancements in vehicle technology, making it easier for criminals to bypass security systems.
As it relates to the increase, the keyless entry vehicles are common based on the year that we're in, and the keyless entry vehicles, other previous interviews would refer to them as computers on wheels. So if you can hack the computer on wheels, you have easier access to it than the old traditional one that would require you to tear down the key barrel and such like.
With a low recovery rate, Bedward notes that by the time victims realize their cars are missing, thieves have already stripped or relocated them, making retrieval nearly impossible.
The time that elapsed in between the actual taking of the vehicle and the owner reporting it to the police would cause the criminals, or give the criminals enough time to either park the vehicles in areas that are not necessarily on the police radar, change the plates, or go in rural areas. It would also give them the opportunity also to search for the trackers that are installed by the persons and remove them.
Despite a 27.9% increase in vehicle thefts, police say there's a 72% jump in recoveries compared to the same period last year. Bedward adds that law enforcement is shifting to a data-driven approach to track and dismantle these criminal operations.
We are looking at the frequency of the vehicles stolen, the times the vehicles are stolen, when the vehicles are stolen, where the vehicles are stolen from, and we are deploying police in those areas at the times, suggested by the statistics, to help mitigate against them. We're on an island-wide drive now, sensitizing police officers as it relates to detecting irregularities in chassis, stolen motor vehicle investigation.
CTOC stresses that this isn't just a Jamaican issue and is urging drivers to be proactive, investing in alarms, tracking systems, and remaining vigilant to keep their vehicles safe. Shante McNeil, CVM News.
April 16 will mark 25 years since the Office of the Public Defender was created to treat with the rights of citizens when there are breaches. Now, while the office ponders its future milestones, it wants citizens to know what their rights are as Jamaicans.
After 25 years, we're still relevant. That's how the public defender is describing the role of the office and its duties to the Jamaican people as the office commemorates 25 years of existence. Speaking at a recent GIS think tank, public defender Carolyn Reed Cameron said the office was created in April 2000 to treat with the rights of citizens when there are breaches or maladministration, and continues to do so.
We are continuing to protect the rights of citizens, as started in the year 2000 when we were created. There are matters in court which we have supported, given our support to, and which have been introduced pursuant to investigations that we have conducted. And on a day-by-day basis, we take on matters that are brought to our attention, and we continue to look with an eagle eye for the opportunity to perhaps explore and investigate other areas that have not yet been touched.
Mrs. Reed Cameron says the Office of the Public Defender has a lot to celebrate as a commission of Parliament performing its duties in accordance with its mandate stated in legislation and in accordance to the history of the Office of the Public Defender, is in the meantime urging Jamaicans to know their rights and guard them well.
For this 25th anniversary, I just want Jamaica to know that it is too sad that we have rights that we know nothing about. You can't enforce a right that you don't even know that you have.
She points out that it will continue to build on the works of its predecessors.
Our office is there to assist you in terms of those needs, and therefore I exhort Jamaicans to familiarize themselves with their constitution, familiarize themselves with the rights that they have, each and every one, as citizens of this country. And bear in mind that our office, the doors are open to facilitate transparency and to assist you in enforcing those rights that you have.
Marjorie Gordon, CVM News.
Do stay with us. CVM News at 7 will continue right after this.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Episode 10.
Wagwan people, we got as far as the nearest parish. We're headed to Portmore today.
Tana, Greater Portmore Tabernacle.
There's no walls to this church.
This real. This real.
Pat a pat, 2 a 2, pat plus 2, me say equal to 2. God make the wolf and the patu.
Here we come, Celine Road.
1 a 1, 2 a 2, 1 plus 1.
10, 9, 8, 7.
CVM TV in association with Express Fitness and Exodus Carnival presents Fit for Fet, the ultimate workout series to get your body ready for the road. Tune in 5 a.m. every morning, Mondays to Fridays, starting April 7th to get involved in high-impact workouts by some of the best in the game. Bring your mats, bring your water, and let's get fit for the fit with Express Fitness and Exodus Carnival, powered by CVM TV.
As we welcome you back, it's time now for regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. The tariff tumult facing the region was addressed by Chair of CARICOM Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who says though CARICOM leaders can lower tariffs to zero, it will not make a difference because the region's economies are small and vulnerable. We hear more from CBC News Barbados.
We must re-engage urgently, directly, and at the highest possible level with our friends in the United States of America. There is an obvious truth which has to be confronted by both sides. That truth is that these small and micro-states of the Caribbean do not in any way or in any sector enjoy a greater degree of financial benefit in the balance of trade than does the United States. In fact, it is because of our small size, our great vulnerability, our limited manufacturing capacity, our inability to distort trade in any way, that successive United States administrations, including and most recently the Reagan administration in the early 1980s, went to great lengths to assist us in promoting our abilities to sell in the United States under the Caribbean Basin Initiative. We will see how these tariffs will impact on that. If Europe and China and the US and Canada and Mexico are all putting tariffs on each other, that is going to disrupt supply chains. That is going to raise the cost of producing everything from the food you eat to the clothes on your back to the phone in your pocket to the car you drive down the road.
To enhance technical and vocational education, Guyana plans to establish a new sector skills council. This is a strategic measure to bridge the gap between TVET and the demands of the country's rapidly developing economy. More from Newsroom Guyana.
The role of technical and vocational education is now more important than ever because of the great demand for skilled labor to support Guyana's rapidly developing economy. And so a national TVET policy was established In that policy, there are various objectives and strategic priorities, including the establishment of sector skills councils. So what is the skills councils all about? Jamaica was the first Caribbean country to establish a sector skills council. That body successfully supported quality and relevant skills development across various sectors. Now Guyana hopes to adopt a similar model. This venture will guarantee the smooth transition of TVET graduates from training into proper jobs or self-employment roles. Right now, the Council for TVET organizes group leads to develop and validate occupational standards on a request basis, aimed at meeting sector-specific skills demand. The government wants to make this service more efficient and responsible.
And in international news, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday downplayed the impact of the Trump administration's tariffs on NATO members' ability to finance the increases in military spending. The details from Reuters.
Their economies are not crashing. Their markets are reacting to a dramatic change in the global order in terms of trade. And so what happens is pretty straightforward. If you're a company and you make a bunch of your products in China, and all of a sudden shareholders or people that play the stock market realize that it's going to cost a lot more to produce in China, your stock is going to go down. But ultimately, the markets, as long as they know what the rules are going to be moving forward, and as long as that's set and you can sustain where you're going to be, the markets will adjust. Businesses around the world, including in trade and global trade, they just need to know what the rules are. Once they know what the rules are, they will adjust to those rules. So I don't think it's fair to say economies are crashing. Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States. We have to be a country that thinks we're the largest consumer market in the world, and yet the only thing we export is services. And we need to stop that. We need to get back to a time where we're a country that can make things, and to do that we have to reset the global order of trade.
And that's it for regional and international news.
Inspire Jamaica latches on to a profession which is child-focused, making the healthcare and the well-being of patients 0 through to adolescents a priority. It's always important, therefore, to pay attention to what the doctor says.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
In 1950, the infant mortality rate was 91.873. In 2000, it was 19.487. In 2020, it was 11.33. And as we speak today, it stands at 10.293. So over the past 75 years, you have moved it from 91 to 10. If that is not progress, I don't know what progress looks like, sounds like, or smells like.
That's Dr. Vincent Peterkin addressing pediatricians and their guests as the main speaker for the 50th anniversary of the Pediatric Association of Jamaica, the PAJ's awards banquet on March 29. And with infant mortality affected by a multiplicity of factors including unintentional medication ingestion, the Dean of the College of Humanities, Behavioral and Social Sciences at the Northern Caribbean University, NCU, who once dreamt of being in medicine, can relate to the horror of medication accessibility by minors.
I had a brother who had seizures, and he was prescribed phenobarbital for relieving of his seizure. It so happened that one night I was at home with my younger siblings, and in the absence of our parents, we decided to see who can take the phenobarbital without water. I took some, and my younger sisters took as well. And the end result was that we ended up sleeping. I slept for a day and a half. My other sister, she slept for 3 days. And my youngest sister, she slept for pretty near about 2 weeks. And coming out of that, we realized that my younger sister could have died, and maybe either my other sister or myself because of an overdose. So we are just encouraging everyone to ensure that all medications are properly taken care of and put away out of the reach of children.
The problem still exists where parents accidentally leave drugs, medication where children can reach to them. Well, he was lucky to have survived.
And I think the important thing is that, especially for toddlers, we have to make our home safe. Accidents occur in the kitchen and the bathroom. And certainly we keep a lot of dangerous chemicals under our kitchen cupboards, and we keep things sometimes in soda bottles. Kids don't know what they are and they ingest kerosene and things like that. So it's important for parents, especially parents of toddlers, to ensure that they make their home safe. And in doing that, they pay attention to those areas, the kitchen, the bathroom, chemicals that they may store in low cupboards, they need to store in high cupboards, and electrical appliances. Kids push their things within outlets, which may shock them, that sort of thing. And the unfortunate thing is that we're also having a lot of kids dying from fires. And so certainly things like candles, kerosene lamps that may turn over, things that in fact make the home susceptible to fires, we need to be aware of. Nowadays, certainly in terms of we have battery lights, that sort of thing, we need to use those. But too many of our kids are dying in fires.
And we also need to remember those children who may be at home with whatever health condition. Sometimes they're left because they can't move around. Those who are disabled or unable to help themselves, we cannot leave them out, can we?
We cannot. And our kids remain kids, and they must be supervised. And as parents, you certainly need to take the responsibility. And I always say to parents that, look, these kids that we have, we don't own them, but we've been given to them by the Almighty to care and guide them, so that as young adults, they can take their place in the world and to support and help to develop Jamaica.
Okay, thank you so much. Congrats.
Thank you.
Pediatric endocrinologist and lecturer Dr. Leslie Gabe is the honoree of the Pediatric Association of Jamaica's 2025 Award of Excellence.
So we see we're, for the past 75 years, the infant mortality rate in Jamaica has been drastically reduced, and that is attributed to the work of pediatricians, those who ensure that our infants are well taken care of, looked after properly, and the right education is passed on to the adults who take care of children, so that the poverty and socioeconomic situations in our country and our systems do not mitigate against them getting the health care that they need.
I'm Curlin Brown. Let's continue to inspire Jamaica.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place.
And Ronaldo Adams is at the ready with your sports right after this.
Best on best. Kenny versus Fred, fastest men alive. Masai versus Jasmine, the crown is hard to keep. Cole, Josh, Yara, are you lucky or good? Gabby, Sydney, Marlady, champions preside. This is where scores are settled, legends made, a festival of speed, 4 times every year. The race is on. Buy your tickets now.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generations, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You